Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. All right. Hello, 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 and welcome to ZBrush Live. Had a little bit of a problem with sound there, but hopefully it is working now. So I would please invite you to let me know in the comments if the sound is working okay and if you can see my screen. And once we do that, we can get started. Again, you can always like, subscribe, and leave a comment. You can ask questions during the stream, but if you're watching this after the fact, you can leave your question in the comments, and hopefully we'll get back to you. All right, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and bring up the ZBrush screen. And again, if anybody from YouTube and from Twitch can let me know that you can hear me, that would be awesome. All right, still waiting. Trying a little bit of a different setup today, so hopefully everything will go okay. All right, I still am waiting for somebody to chime in. I think there's a little bit of a delay, so we'll kind of let that play out. And in the meantime, we'll just kind of go over some of the things that we are going to do today. We are going to start finishing up the secondary forms. I think we're pretty much close to there. There are these kind of little packs over here. There are the kind of the greaves, or I don't know if they're called greaves, or these kind of things that go on the arm that have some sort of electronics on them. And then the boots, I did a little bit of work on there, but not too much. And then we're going to add some straps. So, all right. So it looks like YouTube is good, thank you. And then Gonz 1294. Can you let me know if you can hear me okay? And I cannot speak Spanish, unfortunately. I can speak French and other languages, but not Spanish. Okay, so I'm going to assume that we're good on Twitch since there's one person there, and let's kind of give it a few minutes here for them to respond. Okay, one of the things that I did is I applied a redshift material to the mask here, and I guess maybe this is a good thing to do while we're waiting for somebody to say from Twitch that they can hear me okay. I'll just do a quick redshift render here. And you guys could see the material that I worked on for this kind of mask over here. So we're going to let that go for a second. And Blowman, can you please let me know if you can hear me okay? Still waiting for the render, so here we go. So that's the ambient occlusion, and that's going to be the render. So this material on the mask itself is glass, so it's kind of a glass material. So I worked on that a little bit, kind of off of this, off of the show, but I could probably go in there and show you the settings for it. It's pretty straightforward. I took the existing glass or tinted glass material and then made a few modifications to it, not much. All right, so let's see, where do we start? I still don't have any confirmation from Twitch, but that's fine. I think I'm going to start with the straps. Okay, so for the straps, what I will do here is I will create another view. Let's go to view 3 here. And in view 3, we're just going to look at the jumpsuit. And I've made a copy of it, and I don't know which one of these it is. Is it this one? Nope. Or is it this one? Yeah, it's this one. This one kind of is the actual jumpsuit we're using, but I've got some other ones here too. So let's kind of take a look at those. I think I did this one at some point, which has the new Maxon noise applied to it. So kind of an interesting look here, if we can choose that. I did another one which kind of had this kind of thing, but I don't know if this is even usable, so I'm actually going to move it into my builders folder just so it's out of the way. Do I have a builders folder? Should. All right, let's do a quick look here, and let's bring this down to 8. And I've got the head, harness, shoes, eyes. I guess I have it in another. Okay, so I'll just do it that way. Copy. And do I have a builder's one here? It must be this one. Nope. How about this one? Maybe? No. Or maybe this one. Yep, this is it. So let's paste that here. And then let's go back to here, and we don't need it in this setup. Okay, so there's that, there's that. Okay, so I've got a bunch of these guys, and so, oh wait, there's one more over here. Yeah, and this one I think, yeah, this one is using the kind of the, whatchamacallits, this thing right here, which is the dynamic subdiv and the micro poly. So this is a micro poly that I custom made, and that's one of the choices too. So I don't know which one of these I'm going to use yet, but none of this really matters right now. I just kind of was doing this for my own reminder, just to remind myself what we have. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take one of these guys, and what I'm going to do is just duplicate it, which I've done already here. And then this has multiple subdivision levels, so I just have to kind of figure out a good subdivision level. So for that, I'm going to turn on polyframe, and I think 3 is too much. Let's see, 2. 2 might be too much too. Maybe I'll stick to just 1. I think 1 will work in this case. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and delete all the higher subdivision levels. So delete higher, so I just have 1 subdivision level. And then the other thing I'm going to do here, again, I don't really care about the UVs on this, because it's just going to be, I'm just going to extract out some straps from here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this. I guess I shouldn't mirror it because, well, I can. All right, so this is a nifty trick if you guys don't know it. So what I'm going to do here is delete the middle edge loop. Right? Because if I mirror this right now as is, it's going to create this weird kind of janky stuff in the middle. So I'm just going to do that and mirror and weld it. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want the poly groups to be the same on each size. And notice that it created that nice kind of line smack and dab in the middle. So the trick again is to, if you have something like this, and if I, I'll show you what the difference will be. So if I do mirror and weld here, you see how it created this kind of little weird thing here that's going to cause me all sorts of trouble later. So in order not to have that problem, what you do is you delete the middle line here, and then just mirror and weld it, and then that will create the middle line, the symmetry line for you. And also in this case, it did what the other thing I wanted to do, which was to duplicate the poly group from one side to the next. So I don't really need to have separate poly groups on each side. Okay, so with that done, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create some straps on here. So there are different ways of doing this. And I'm going to turn symmetry on here. And what I'm going to do is do it this way, which is by masking. So I'm just going to mask where I want the strap. So I want one here. So I'm just kind of masking that area. And notice here I'm using pretty high resolution, but it doesn't really matter. And then this is another place I want to have straps, but then there is a polygroup here already. So, but I want the strap to be higher up, kind of near where his knees are. So what I'm going to do here is just go in and grab this polygroup, this one. So grab it, and then I'm going to use that same polygroup to add a polyloop of it just right on top. Okay, so for some reason that did not happen the way I wanted it to, but that's okay, because now I can just go ahead and do fill polygroup and just do fill. And I don't really need a strap down here, so I'm just going to go ahead and fill this whole bottom part. And what I'm trying to do here is just create some separation between the polygroups. This is good. I don't know if I need a strap here, so I'm just going to go ahead and fill this with a different polygroup here and extend that to the arm. So again, I don't really need a strap on here, but let's see. It'll be nice to have a belt one. I don't need one over here, so I'm just going to change this to a different polygroup here. I don't need a strap over there. That's good. So I'll just basically be having one. I wonder if it's a good idea to have one over here. So I'm going to try and do that as well. So I'm just going to create a polygroup, polyloop of just a single polygroup here. And so it basically will create a difference area. Actually, yeah, just one. You don't need two. Okay. All right, so with that done, the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch these masks over here that I created. I'm going to change that into polygroups. So the way to do that is just go to polygroups and then group masked. Let's do that, and clear mask. Now there's a polish over here. I'm going to leave that at 25 just to see what I get. And there we go. I guess that's good. And I can either use this as is and then retopologize it, or the next thing I'm going to do actually is going to work out better for me, which is I'm just going to go into curve, under stroke and curve, and in the curve functions, I'm going to have it frame the mesh with polygroup, or frame the polygroups with curves. Okay, so I've got a curve over here, one over here, one over here, and that's good because I could choose either one of these two straps. It'll be easy. It looks like it added one kind of coming down this way, which is fine. And then a couple over here. All right, so this is okay. And now what I will do next is use these curves to add straps using an IMM brush. So here I'll just jump into my light box here and go into, let's see, brushes. And let's go to our IMM brushes, or IMM curve brushes. And I've got quite a few here that are straps. And let's see, I think I've got a whole folder full of them here. And I just bought one not too long ago, this one, which has some nice ones. So let's see, what are these ones here? Those are good, but I don't think those are exactly what I'm looking for. Let's see, medium straps. And there's quite a few here. So now the problem with all these is they have buckles on the other side, which is not what I need. So no, I don't know if I'm going to find what I'm looking for in this set. I wish they just had, like, these are IMMs. Okay, I wish they just had regular just straps, but I have one of those, I think. I think one comes with ZBrush as well. Let's try this one. All right, so these are all buckles as well, but there are ones that are straps, so let's try this one. And by the way, you can choose any, I mean, you can just basically have like strap snap, this one right here. You can use these brushes as well. Curve, flat snap, there's this one. You can use this. Or this one right here. You can use this one as well. So if you just want kind of just a band, and you can also use these curve alphas, but you just need to make sure they don't taper. So there's different ways you can do this, but I'm just going to maybe try this one right here. Okay, so that's the brush I have. Now it's a good idea to kind of lock in your draw size. So I'm going to start at 2, just, you know, for kicks, and see. Okay, so that gave me these straps, but they're too small. So I don't really need to do anything except maybe double this. So let's go to 4, try that as for size. Oops. Okay, let's see. Reverted back to 2 for some reason. Let's go back to 4, do that again. Okay, so that's not that much bigger. I don't know why it's not staying. Okay, here we go. All right, so now we're getting what we want. I'm going to turn polyframe off just so I can see what these straps are looking like. And that size is okay. I might go a little bit bigger. So let's go to 8. I don't know why just one of them is going to that. Let's try this one more time. Okay, here we go with size 8. Size 8 looks okay. Let's just go for a full 10. All right, starting from scratch. 10 looks like it's what we need. All right, so I've got all these straps and they're connecting up, which is good. And they're connecting up kind of in weird places, but that's okay. I can just always put something there. But let's try, I don't know what this is, but I'm just going to try a few other ones. Whoa, yeah, this is really big, but it kind of seems cool. So let's drop that draw size to 6 and see if... it's still too big. Let's try 4. Right, so that's kind of a cool strap too. I kind of like the belt stuff that's happening over here, so that's good. Yeah, so it's between these two, and I kind of think this one has more visual interest. But yeah, I don't know. How about this one? This works, but it's got these weird buckles on the ends, and I'll have to deal with them, which I kind of really don't want to. So I think, yeah, let me look at the polyframe on these things. Yeah, it might be easy to just get rid of them because they're all the same kind of poly group. Because I like the strap, I just don't like the, I don't know if I like the buckles. All right, let's try something else here. All right, it seems like all these have buckles, so let me see. I think I have one more that does not have, and I should put these under here, organization wise. Yeah, this one, belts brush. Let's try that. Yes, for some reason all of these have buckles on them, which is kind of annoying. I mean, it's cool if you need it, but annoying if you don't. All right, let's see here. I don't know what this is. Let's see if this is any good. I think this is just a single. No. Is it just one brush? It is. It's kind of like a data cable. That's not going to work. Okay, back to the drawing board. We're getting close here, guys. Sorry. Okay, this is insert belt. Seems like it's just one also. Here we go. How about this one? This one looks like it's going to do the job. All right. Yep. Yes. Good. All right, let's see what this one does. That's good. Kind of simple. Has these little things at the end, which I don't need, but that's fine. All right. Let's try this one. Uh-oh. Ah, no. All right. Let's see if it does do a quick save. All right, we have a pretty quiet group today. Nobody's saying anything. There are enough people watching, so I don't know. Okay, so it said it did recover the file. That's always good. Let's start it over. All right. So let's kind of resize this. I should have quit out of ZBrush after I resized it. I'm basically resizing this to fit this, streaming resolution. I usually work in 4K, but when I'm streaming, it's 1080p. So if you guys could bear this for a couple of seconds here. All right, and here are all my quick saves and recovered project. Here we go. See some of the other projects I'm working on. Quite a few. Okay. It's really strange to see the number of users go up and down. How often do I clean out brushes I don't use? I don't usually. I think I need to be in solo mode here. I'll only do one other thing real quick. I usually don't do, I basically just accumulate. I don't really remove anything. But what I do once in a while is go in and kind of organize them, and instead of getting rid of stuff, I usually put them in a folder that basically isn't one that I go to all the time. But yeah, I usually don't clean anything out. And also I don't have my brushes in the, so I do have quite a few brushes in the, if I hit B, I do have some additional ones in the brush folder, in the ZBrush brush folder, and these are ones that I use kind of more frequently. So in addition to the ones that come with ZBrush, I do have a few like these ones over here that are in the ZBrush folder, but I don't keep them all there because it gets cluttered pretty fast. So I do keep them in a separate folder, and I go to it from Spotlight, right? So, or Lightbox, sorry, not Spotlight. Right, so like I have all my IMM curve brushes in one folder, all my IMM brushes in one folder, all my brushes that are not ZBrush brushes that are external ones, I keep them here. And then I've got vector displacement map brushes, so all of them are separated out. And I find this to be kind of a good way to organize them. Okay, so back to this mess over here. Tank treads, no, all right. Quite a few here, and one of the goals I guess I have is now to create a better strap folder. So I'm going back to this one here, and I think we went with this one, right? So let's go ahead and pick that one and pop it in. Okay, so I didn't have the crash this time. I don't know why it crashed last time, but it happens. All right, so and the other thing also when you do this, by the way, here's another kind of pro tip. If I've got symmetry on, it's going to add two sets of brushes. So it's going to add, if it does one on the right, it's going to add one on the left, and it does one on the left, it's going to add one from the right. And you can kind of see here with the buckles that there's that many of them, and that's not what you want, right? So you basically just want one per side. And see, so now this is better. And once again, I can get rid of the polygroups that are the buckles. So, but I just need to be happy with the kind of the straps. And I think these ones look okay, right? So I'm going to add them one more time. They're good. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and say split mass points. That basically splits out the suit, and I'm just left with the straps. And here I can just select just these, invert. Oops, I can do actually the opposite of that. All right, and then I guess these are different color. All right, so now I basically just have the straps, but I do have gaps in between them, and that's easy enough to fix. I guess these ones didn't want to go away, so I'll have to manually do them. All right, so I've got all the strap structure here, right? And all I got to do is just delete hidden to get rid of all the kind of the extremities or the ends. Okay, so let's go back to a normal brush. And now to close these gaps over here, I just use the bridge function. So now I do need to have symmetry. So I'm going to go here and activate symmetry and also mirror and weld. So I have exactly the same thing on both sides. And notice here I had that same problem with the center line kind of replicating. So I might need to get rid of some things here. Let's go ahead and bring our subject back up. Interesting that this is the suit that it chose. I kind of want to go with this one actually, and not this one. All right, and let's see where buckles make sense. Let's just bring everything back. So I'm going to go to V1 here, and it makes sense to have them over here. I don't know if I need both of these. I might need one or the other. I'll decide. The one around the knees is okay, and let's see for these ones. This one here seems extra, so I can get rid of it. So I'm just going to do that with delete island. Okay, that looks all right. And then I don't know if I need this little thing over here, so I'll get rid of that. And I think everything else looks okay. I kind of like these ones around the arm that it added. All right, so I'm going to go back to these and then patch them up. So first thing I'm going to do, so some of them, it's going to be easy, but if there's 3 here, it's not going to be as easy. But then I don't really need these to be joined, so I can just get around it that way. All right, so I don't know if this is going to work symmetrically because these are not symmetrical. So what I'm going to do here is just go to Bridge, Edges, and also I'm going to do nothing for Polygon, and let's do nothing for Point for now. And then I'm going to bridge 2 holes. Where are you? Bridge 2 holes. Okay, 1, 2, and that basically adds that. Now there is a way to, yeah, here we go, to kind of change the curvature too. I don't really need that many spans. I'm going to make it less. There. Okay. Now let's see if I can just click on these 2 and get the same. Probably won't, but it's fine. It's not that many. Nope. All right. So about that. So up and down is the number of spans, and then side to side with the mouse is the number of, and I don't need these to be separate polygroups. I'm just going to group them all as the same group. Okay, so that's good. It looks like I added some extra geometry there, but it doesn't really matter. All right, so here I've got 2 in the back. Let's see, which one do I really need? I don't need the one on the top, so I'm going to delete that. So I'll redo this one and then go back to do nothing. So right, so here I'm going to try and see if symmetry does work. Yep, it's always good when it does. Right, so I think this is enough number of spans. And it's kind of acting a little bit funny for the, I'm just going to leave that straight. And then let's do these ones. Let's see if symmetry works here as well. Yep. Okay, that's good. All right, let's do these leg ones. Again, hoping symmetry will work. complaining, but here we go. That worked. That's good. And then let's do these ones. So I haven't decided of these ones which one I'm going to keep, but it's easy enough to just do both and then decide. So let's do this one. Just have to get the right angle from here to here. Nope, this is not working symmetry-wise, so I just have to do them individually. That's fine. It would suck if this was the one I got rid of. Hello? All right, here we go. Right, let's do the same here. Okay, and then you can always retopo these two. ZRemesh them. That's good. Then let's do this one. Okay, one more left. Now I could make my life easier with these guys and not have them have depth, which I might do in a minute. Let's see if these work with symmetry. Right, one. Is it complaining symmetrically? Let's see, bridge. All right, no worries. We'll just do it individually. Right, that's good. And then let's do these ones. Okay, so that basically connected all of them up. And then for this one, I'll just do the top part, and then I'll tuck the other one underneath or something. Right, so once again, I'm going to give symmetry a try because it just will save me so much time. That did work. Okay, and then I'm just going to go to topological here. So I'm just moving whatever I click on, and I'm going to move that underneath like that. And then same thing with this one. Just move it in a little bit like this. All right, I think that's good enough. Now let's bring everything back and see how these look. They look good. I'm just going to fill these with the same color, RGB fill. All right. Okay. All right, I think that is not too bad. And I think I'm going to forego the thickness for now and just keep it the way it is. And I kind of like how this came underneath here. And then maybe I can, you know, put like a bracket or something that will hold it in over here. Okay, I think that looks good. And I kind of don't know if I want to keep both of these or just one of them, but they seem to be okay for now. Maybe if I change this angle of this one a bit, it might be better. So the old man, I think that answered my how often do I keep my brushes updated, and so yeah, I usually do kind of a clean house or spring cleaning or whatever you call it every once in a while. Usually the thing that kind of causes it is either I'm on a project where I actually need certain things and I just fix those ones, like for example here, the strap ones, I think I might after the stream I might just go in there, and I noticed that some of them were in different folders, so I'll just consolidate those, and that will be that for straps, and then another time it'll be like something else. So eventually it'll get organized, but I usually find things pretty easily. All right. Okay, top one, bottom one. I think for this one, I think I'm going to go even higher like that. There we go. And maybe this one kind of holds it together here, and I'll put buckles and stuff later, but for now I just kind of need to get a rough idea of how these are going to go. And of course I need to run the cloth sim around them too. I want to make sure these are not too far away, which they are, so it's always good to rotate around your model. Okay, here we go. I'm just using the inflate just to inflate this a little bit, which might not be a very good idea. All right, so again, these don't really have to attach to the person. They're just kind of loose straps, just to kind of hold things into position. So there we go. Now for this one, I can just kind of loosen it down a bit. All right. So that's one part done. And I kind of wanted to do this off camera, but I thought it'd be a good kind of thing to do in the stream, just because I think people might be interested in doing these same things themselves. All right. So I've done a similar thing here with the shoes already. Now let's kind of determine, and yeah, let's see here. I forgot to fix these things over here. So it looks like it's intersecting with this other strap, which we don't want it to do. And then do I really need these ones? Kind of looks good like this. Yeah, I guess I'll keep them. Again, you don't want to mess with these too much, and you want to keep them pretty low poly, just because you don't want to have to manipulate too many points. I think it's even a lot more than it needs to be. And sometimes it helps to ZRemesh these, so I'm going to give it a try just to see if I can get lesser polygons. So I'm going to solo it out, and let's move these under. Mesh at half. Let's see what that gives us. Actually gave us more. ZRemesh half. Let's continue to do it. See how low we can go. Again, I don't really need those sharp edges. it seems like it just wants to give me, oh, what's this over here? So I've got like an unwanted patch of geometry over here. Alright. I'm going to try a couple more of these just to see if I can get. It seems like the number of polygons is going up instead of going down. I turn adaptive off just to see if I can get less. Looks like it is a little bit less, but it's still too many. Here we go. Getting there. Yes. All right. Here we go. This is about the level of geometry I want. Just because I can always add more, but this is easier to. I should have done that even before I did this. Okay. Now, what happened with all these ZRemeshes is that it kind of shrunk down. So I'm going to inflate these just a little bit. And see if that helps. Otherwise, I'm going to go all the way back. So inflate. Yeah, that works. They're looking more like tubes than straps, but it's okay. Now, another thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go and mask the areas. I'm going to give this a try, see if it works. I'm going to mask the areas where these are actually attached to things. Right, so let's say this is attached over here. Right, and then these ones are maybe attached in the back. So I'm just masking certain areas. Let me solo it out. These are masked over here. They're attached over here. They're not going to move. Maybe this one's attached at the bottom of the arms. These are attached at the hips. Okay, so here I'm just going to do a quick cloth stem. And I don't really need all this stuff on there, so I'm just going to go ahead and go to another view here. Let's say I go to view 2, I've got that, and maybe I just enable the uniform. There we go. And again, this is just an experiment. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but this is how you kind of find out. So I'm going to have this be inflatable, not have that strong of a gravity, and have this 0.1 difference in area. And let's see what this does. It's kind of interesting what it did, but not what I wanted it to do. So maybe, so I'm just basically, you know, picking areas to mask where I don't want it to move too much, and then doing this. And that kind of creates more of kind of a hanging type of feel to it. Do that a little bit more. Okay, that's too much. Another thing I also want to do is indicate that this is a pretty firm thing. And also for a good measure, let's just also store a morph target. All right, run simulation. I do have inflate on, right? Yep. Just try expand, see if it does anything. I think that's good. It just kind of adds a little bit more of kind of a physics kind of thing to it. And again, these are pretty kind of want them to be flatter if I can get it, but that's fine. And the other thing I could also do, which I might still do, let's go back to this view. I think that looks okay. Oh, interesting. There's a whole other one here that I don't know what the point of it is. Is it showing in the back? It is showing in the back. All right, let's bring it up in the front. It's kind of cool too. Right? Just kind of have it do this kind of thing. All right, so, and of course I gotta match this to that thickness. Okay, I think that's good. Let's see, what else do we want to work on? Let's work on these guys for a while. All right, I'm going to solo these out. Okay, so these are just basically, you know, ones that I just took off of. I'm going to turn dynamic off. And these are just basically, you know, just cylinder shapes that I got off the existing costume. And I am going to go ahead and add polygrouping to it and decide where the screen is going to be. So, you know, sometimes it could be on the inside or on the outside. I don't know yet, but I can figure it out. All right, so this is something I'm going to try and ZRemesh. Same. Just so I can get more even polygons and more flowing geometry, and that seems to have worked. More or less. Do I have symmetry on? I do. All right, so for this, I'm going to go ahead and polygroup, polyloop. Right, I should let everybody know that I will be doing my own stream, and it's going to start in April. So starting April, I'm going to be streaming here, of course, but I'm also going to have another stream happening on the Fridays, I think. I don't know if I have decided on Fridays or maybe Saturdays or Sundays where I actually, yeah, I don't know, maybe another day too. Yes, that's a good question to ask you guys. And if you're watching this after the fact, put it in the comments. What night would work best for you? It has to be in the evening. I can't do days. So I could do the Friday night that I'm not streaming here. So I'd be streaming here one Friday and streaming on my channel the other Friday. So we could do it that way, or we could just have it be a different day. And also, I need to know from you folks whether I should do it on Twitch and YouTube or just YouTube. All right, here I'm just going to QMesh, polygroup island, and I'm just going to kind of create a part like that. Loop, and then let's snap it to here. Ooh, doesn't want to do it that way. I wonder why these sides are not snapping. Do I need to step size, enable triangle snap? Let's see if this works. Does not. All right, so then we're going to do it a different way here. We'll do these first, and then we'll do this one. QMesh polygroup island. And let's see what this looks like. that's a good place for it. I think that works. Okay. Just want to do one other thing here. All right. All right, and then poly group, poly island. Let's see if this looks any better. No, I kind of like just the one. Something like that. I'm actually not liking the placement of this, so I'm just going to grab this poly group. Oops. Poly group. And I'm going to move this over this way. Like that. I think, is that too much? No, that's good. Okay, and then just kind of even this out. So now here, I'm using the relax brush, or the smooth relax, which basically you just click and let go of smooth, and then just continue to smooth, and that just basically does a little bit of a better distribution of the polygons. I kind of want a rectangular shape over here, which I'm not getting. So I'm going to try and see if I can get that artificially. Right, that looks a little bit better. So anybody watching affected by the latest layoffs in the game companies? I know there's been quite a bloodbath of hey Sean, how's it going? Thanks for joining me. Yeah, I always have clean topology, Chris Wolf. I always do. It's kind of indoctrinated in me to always have clean topology. I don't know why, but I think it makes life easier all around, and it's not that much work. I mean, once you get it, you get it. All right, so I'm just going to do it this way, and then just QMesh this. QMesh, poly group island. Yeah, if anybody was affected, it's been dreadful. Like, it's really been bad. I've got some friends that lost their jobs, and none of them are happy about it, of course. Some who'd been with the company for a very long time. So yeah, not fun. All right, let's try the QMesh again. Let's say QMesh polygroup all. Let's do this. SD. Okay, this is working for me right here. Perfect. All right, am I needing thickness to this? I don't really need thickness right now, but I do need maybe one more smooth subdivision. No, just one. Okay, and I'm going to apply that. And I'm going to switch to non-polygonal view and just make some adjustments to this. And I'm going to put kind of a display over here. That's going to do that. Now let's look at these things. Right, so somebody mentioned clean topology, but there's definitely a problem here. There's some non-manifold action going. So let's see if this fixes it right here. Check. Yeah, see, this is a problem. So I'll just fix it, and that will fix it. And check it again. Nope. Yeah, see. So there's some non-manifold stuff going on that can easily be fixed. Right, so I don't really need this inside part, so I'm just going to get rid of it. Delete. Polygroup island. Oh, it's subdivision level 2. Let's go to 1. Let's delete the higher for now. Okay, we don't need this. That fixes that problem. We don't need this. That fixes that problem. I think there's 2 more of these, maybe. Yeah. This one. Here we go. Now let's do the check mesh. Okay, now it's fine, right? So that was non-manifold geometry in there that I really didn't want there. The end result is the same. It's just not problematic geometry that's going to cause me all sorts of headaches later on. Okay, there's that, and all right, this looks like it's coming along. I think it's a good time to drop a save. It is a downer situation, definitely. But you know, I mean, I don't think it's the first time this is going to happen, and I don't think it's the last. But you know, who knows? They could be hiring binge that happens soon anyway. I mean, it's not like games are bad or anything. Let me just fill this object with this color. Yeah, I mean, games are doing really well. Apple just came out with their new display. I don't know if anybody here has had a chance to take a look at it. I'm going to go take a look at it next week. I've got an appointment too, and yeah, so finally, you know, Apple has a kind of a augmented reality type of a entry, and it's going to be interesting to see what that brings, right? So, and as adamant as people are about hating AI, I think that's going to open up some jobs too. I think eventually they will stop the steal, so to speak. Oh, I can't believe I just said that. They're going to stop the stealing of intellectual property. I heard a really good argument the other day for that, by the way, and I will share it with you guys. And it was that, you know, somebody was asking... somebody was arguing that, like, oh, well, you know, it's just learning just like we use inspiration or whatever, which I think is not a good argument. But somebody was arguing and saying that, yeah, you know, it's like, you know, I mean, we learn from other artists. Why can't the AI learn from other artists? And you know, the point made was that if we don't learn from other artists, we can just still create our own work. But AI cannot do anything unless it uses other artists' work. So there has to be fair compensation for that. So yeah, and I don't know how that's going to be implemented, but I think there are other ways of fighting. If you are interested, there are tools that will, you know, put things in your image that will actually you know, when that image is scraped off of ArtStation or whatever service, then it messes it up, so that you know, the AI will not really know from the metadata what it is, and you know, and from the image information, it will not know what it is. So, you know, it would think it is seeing a cat, but it's actually a picture of a dog. And when it tries to recreate it, it will mess things up. So, you know, there's going to be a lot of that kind of thing happening, where the well is going to get poisoned. And I think, you know, these things are going to go back and forth a little bit until, you know, some sort of ethical way of using it comes out. So, yeah. I mean, I showed some AI stuff in a stream, which didn't really, I guess, didn't work well for some of the audience. So I will kind of not do that stuff on this channel this point forward. I might do it on mine. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I could do whatever I want on my own. I don't have to be streaming it. But, you know, the reason why I do these is because I want to educate kind of people on possibilities. All right, so here I'm Q-meshing this, but I'm holding Control just because I want a separate screen. It's doing the bracelets too, but I don't really care about that. But I can remove those. All right, so here, delete island. I just want to get rid of these strap ones, and I want to take this one and polygroup it a different color. Maybe a different one than the two. All right, and then I'm just going to split, or just reverse this. And split hidden. All right, so then this is just it's a screen, and I'm going to flatten that out and try and place it over there. So that's kind of going to have some glowy stuff on it, and yeah, be like two kind of screens on his hand that basically show him stuff. All right, let's see. Moving on to, I'm pretty close, I think, with secondary forms. So let's do some tertiary sculpting here. Let's choose these two boxes and do something else with them. So what I want to do with these is I want to create new ones of them. So I'm just going to duplicate this. No, I don't want to duplicate all the subtools. I just want to duplicate that one thing. Okay, duplicate. Okay, so I've got a copy of it, and now I have this set in the center of it, but I want to work on one of these individually. So what I'm going to do is, now that I have the duplicate here, I'm going to turn off symmetry. I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to delete hidden, and then I'm just going to take this one and see if I can center it like this. Okay, and for good measure, I'm just going to whoa, don't do that. I think this is good, but let's just make sure. So here I'm just going to use symmetry, mirror and weld X, Y, and Z, and just make sure that I want to do this locally, local symmetry, and so that basically just tells me that it is going to be the same on all sides, which is what I wanted. And then I'm just going to add some edge loops here. So insert edge loops, multiple, let's go for 8. Interactive, that's good. That's good. I'm just adding some geometry here because I want to create some sculpture with this. And I think that's good enough, more or less. Yes, okay. All right, so now let's go ahead and that's good. going to do some Q meshing. Q mesh, and let's do a single polygon. Now, one thing I want to do here is, do I have two of these? No, that's good. All right, I'm going to turn symmetry back on. Yeah, let's pick a different, lighter color polygroup for this. Here we go. And worried that the software I've installed was stealing my graphics. I worried. What software we're using, Chris? Let's add an edge loop here. Let's do one of these guys. Again, it's always good to see what you're doing. Right. I'm going to crease these so I can get creases all the way around. So crease, edge loop, or let's just do poly loop. Nope, wrong direction. No. Crease, poly loop. There. Well, it's weird that it did the inside too, but I don't think that matters. So we're not to have that happen. All sides. No, I don't want all sides. Long sides. Okay. Let's do that again. Yep, that's what I want. I'll just polygroup these two. Polygroup, polyloop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then let's Q mesh, polygroup all out like this. Right, I'm going to single poly. ACDC, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if ACDC does. It's a good question. I don't think it does. I mean, unless you're storing the images somewhere else, then I think you're fine. I mean, at this point, you know, it's going to be pretty difficult to it's going to be really difficult to kind of determine if you have stuff on a folder in a folder. It's going to be hard to determine if something is scraping it or not, which is kind of unfortunate. Loop. I'm just trying to kind of get a nice pattern here of this. That's good. Actually, that was pretty interesting. Right, I'm going to do crease polygroups on here. So geometry, crease, polygroups. And let's see what that looks like. Okay, kind of interesting thing happening here, but not exactly what I want. So just crease PG this way. looks good. Yeah, I think a lot of artists are up at arms. I mean, it's kind of almost a ridiculous, and I don't mean ridiculous in a bad way. It's kind of, you know, it's ridiculous how, you know, a lot of artists feel super threatened that their work is gonna not matter. So yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens. All right, I'm going to make this a little bit longer. QMesh, flat island. All right. I think I'm going to do an indentation on the side here. Let's see if I can do it. Nope, I don't have enough ledge loops, so I'll add, insert to ledge loops. Let's just do one for now. One here, one here. Okay, and let's do another two. Let's polygroup. Loop. And this kind of stuff is really fun, by the way. Just kind of doing hard surface modeling basically, but in ZBrush. And what I want to do here is push these in, but not the ones that are out. So I'm going to polygroup a single poly, pick this polygroup. And unfortunately, these colors are very similar. So they're kind of, I don't know if you're seeing this. Maybe I can redo the polygroups. I think there's a way to do it. So polygroups and let's see, regroup visible. Here we go. Yeah, this makes it a little bit easier to see what we're doing, but I need to grab this orange color. I guess the nice thing about some of these layoffs is that the severance packages seem to be pretty good. Like the one Riot got was great. I mean, not that, you know, losing your job is great by any means, but at least if you have a good severance, you have enough, you know, oxygen to be able to find another job. Okay, so now what I want to do is just push this in, QMesh, polygroup, all, and just push this in like that. All this work was just to do that. Again, I'm getting these kind of corners over here that need to be creased. So crease, edge, that fixes that. And I'm going to try and do the crease PG. Let's see if that works. I'm just going to go back to when I first did this, and let's go ahead and do polygroups and, or no, geometry, crease, and crease PG. Okay, that kind of helped, but not really. Okay, we'll have to do them manually, not that big of a deal. Since we have symmetry on, it just should take a few minutes. And this helps if it's in this form. And I'm just going to say do nothing for this, so it's faster. Okay, so that looks good. This will all be done in just 3 or 4 steps. 1, 2, 3. Actually, let me see if this works. If I do a crease, if I can do a crease, edge loop, partial, that might make it faster for these guys. Yep. That worked. Goes all the way around. All good, all good. Okay. Then we just need this one. Actually, I don't really need this to be, I can cheat here and just raise just QMesh single poly, just raise these two out. There. Let's see what this looks like. That's good. Nice little bar thing there. And I kind of like what's going on over here. If I want to repeat that on the bottom, but I think it's okay. All right, so now that I have this, I'm going to just position it where the other one is, more or less. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to do something else, which is I'm going to set, and I don't know if this is available here, a home stage. So that's the home stage. And then let's set a target stage for it. And the reason why I'm doing this is because if I want to do further edits, I can just bring it back to the home stage and do it there. I mean, with the new local symmetry, I could probably do it where it's at as well. But yeah. Okay. All right, Chris, good night if you're still with us. And if you left, sweet dreams, I guess. All right. Press D. That's good. Now I'm going to hide the other one just for kicks so I can see what is happening. And it's looking good. Here we go. You know what was really great is that with this kind of layoff, there were a lot of friends of mine that actually were helping some of the people find new positions within the companies they were working in. So I saw a lot of that, which was great. So yeah, if your company that you're working for needs people, you can reach out to some of the people that got laid off and get them working again. All right, I think this looks good just about here. That. Yeah, I'll hold that to the other side. Now I don't want to do this locally. And there. Okay. So that kind of looks better than what was there before. I don't know. Oh, it did. It did the Z as well. There we go. That's all I need. There. Okay, that looks much better. And now I need to do something with these guys over here. Oh my gosh. Man, time flies. I can't believe it's got about maybe 40 minutes left. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to get to tertiary shapes today. Maybe next time we'll do that. I might just do a little bit more of this and then maybe do some color work. Determine some cool colors for this. All right, let's do a quick render just to kind of see what it looks like. And before we do that, let's just do a quick save. Right, and with that, let's do a quick render just to kind of see what we've got. I'm going to choose a different material for this. And again, all I'm looking is for kind of how things are going to look when I just kind of see the different edges and how things are going to look. So I'm just going to kind of do a simple BPR render. You can see the GPU kicking in. And I do have my render settings pretty high, so it's going to take a little bit longer. I usually don't have them at this level initially. All right. So I think I need a different HDR, something more interesting than what I got here. So let's just get a different HDR here. I just got some new ones online. I purchased a couple of packs that are pretty nice from Alex Cynical, I guess. And he's got some good hard surface ones, so I'm just going to use one of these guys and see what it looks like. Right, and I'm going to turn this off. So it's not in the background, but let's see if this lights it up any better. Okay, so the render shouldn't take as long. Nope, here we go. Nice rim light there. All right, so that's a good render. And then let's see if I rotate this light a bit, what we get. So I'm going to turn it back on here, go to light and background, and let's rotate it to see if I can move some of those lights to the front. One of the things I'd like to see changed in ZBrush is like better lighting for redshift. I mean, an HDR is nice, but it'd be nice to have some spotlights and some area lights. Okay, so that's looking good. I kind of like the little details that are popping off here, and you see, kind of do a close-up of here, see what that looks like. And these renders are going to go a lot faster just because all the information is already in Redshift. So the first one took a little bit of time, but every subsequent one is going to take a lot less time. All right. That's good. I think the material is a little bit too dark. Let's pick a lighter color for it. Maybe go like over to here, and let's add some saturated color into it. Let's go for some blue, maybe something like this. Let's see what that looks like. And again, this is not going to be anything final. This is just me kind of kicking the tires on this thing, seeing what it would look like rendered. It's cool. And this is kind of a metallic material, so it kind of gives me a good idea of most of that are on here. Of course, I'll have different cloth materials and other things for the clothing part, but this gives me a good kind of just a quick measure as to what I'm getting. Let's do one from the side here. And again, you can kind of see how fast these renders are happening. Yeah, Sean Davis is saying outline cavity filter will make it good. Yeah, we can do that. It helps. Also, there's a couple other tricks too. So here we'll just go, I think I already have it on. outline edge, I have that on, and I also have outline cavity on. I can make it a little bit more prominent. Let's see, modifiers here. Let's do both interior and exterior cavities, and let's increase those radii a little bit. And yeah, let's see what that gives us. I guess that's real time, so we're seeing it. It's not bad. Yeah, there we go. Another thing I've found with Redshift is the contrast. You can play around with that just a little bit, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So right now we don't have the cavity. It'll do the render and then it'll add it afterwards. So here it's just doing the regular render, and then once it's done, now it added the cavity, and this is what it looks like with and without the cavity. So yeah, it definitely makes a difference. Definitely kind of creates a little bit more of ambient occlusion. And then the other thing you can also do here is go into adjustments and adjust, and you can play around with the contrast. And this is real time as well. So you can choose kind of a little bit of a greater contrast if you want this kind of the shadows to pop over here. But and you can do them individually by color. But I usually just give just a little bit of it. And you can also adjust the brightness here. So you can do that as well. Orton helps as well. So you can either do these or you can just leave it as is. In this case, I think this is good enough. And I'm kind of liking what I'm getting. So these tests that I'm doing are giving me what I want, which, I've got all my kind of primary and secondary shapes working. All I got to do now is just work on the tertiary shapes, and that's just basically adding detail. Kind of a fun process, and we'll do that next time. And I'm kind of thinking of putting another light in here in the mask to kind of make things pop further. All right, so let's go back to basic material here, and let's go ahead and take out this HDR and get back to work. All right, so what do I want to work on next? Thing about these are, I was kind of contemplating whether or not I want to turn local here. Make these wider or thinner. I think what they are is good. All right, so here I'm going to take this all the way back to what I had, and where I had it in the middle, like this. And I want to do a little bit more work on them. So I'm going to put some holes in here. So this is a good way to do it. You just basically go to split, right? And you go and draw where you want that to be, which is over there. And we'll do one more over here. Right, and then I'm just going to make these a different polygroup. So polygroup is single poly. All right, so here there's a bit of a problem where it's not a perfect circle, and that's because there's a crease on the inside. So easy enough to fix, crease edge. And if you alt click, it uncreases it and uncrease that one. Okay, and I don't really need the creases for those areas, so I'm good. I need to crease these just to kind of have better containment. All right, and then I just need to Q-mesh these. Q-mesh polygroup. And let's see if these look better out or in. All right. The problem with these guys is they are not centered in these areas, so that's easy enough to fix. I'm going to insert edge loop over here. And I'm going to delete these. And insert new ones this way. All right, and then split. Same same issue with the creasing. So now these are now centered and pushed in. Right, so let's see if this works now. Nope, because I had not set it. That's fine. Easy enough to do. Oh. All right, coming together very nicely. Right, mirror world on the other side. So that's a little bit of tertiary detail that I added, and I'm kind of unsure of the size of that, so I can change it. Let's see if that works. Polyframe here, and what I want to do is polygroup these inside parts. And let's scale the polygroup. Scale. Polygroup island. Wow. Let's do local symmetry. See if that works. Nope. And what if dynamic? All right, it's not doing what I wanted to do. But I've got another trick of doing it, and that is by going to the Move tool, click, to there, and just mask this polygroup. Invert the mask, pop that there, and make this there we go. That looks much better. Now I got to do the same thing over here. This, invert it, go here, pop the there we go. Now ideally I would have done these the same, but this will work. Oh, what is going on? Something weird happened on this one side, but not a problem. Control A, mirror and weld. Or mirror and weld. Oh, no. Okay. Mirror X. And mirror and weld. Okay, so that fixed that. So now we're good. That looks a lot better than what we had before. So there it is. And so I mean, this is geometrically adding some of the tertiary details, right? And then we're also going to use alphas next time to do the same kind of stuff. Here I'm just eyeballing these to be the same size. Okay, that's good. All right. So one other thing I'm going to do here, just to kind of add visual interest, is I'm going to create something that I could make into another material. So I'm going to QMesh poly loop, and I'm going to pull this out, but with control, just to kind of get a whole other one in here, and place it there. All right, and that's basically just another, whoa, what's going on here on the inside? Did I undo? Yeah, I guess I undid until, okay. I guess another way of doing this, I could do it with QMesh, but I'm going to do it another way, where I'm just going to poly loop, polygroup this poly loop, this one, another color, and then do the same for this one. Okay, and maybe do the same for this one right here. Okay, and then I'm just going to duplicate this entire thing. Duplicate, and so now I've got two copies, right? And then with this one copy, I'm just going to isolate this polygroup and delete hidden. All right, so now I've got one that is, where are you? Okay, so one that's just the straps, and then I've got one that's the actual things. And the reason why this will work is here, you'll see with this. All I need to do is just mirror that to the other side. Nope. And I also want these to just be inflated just a tiny, tiny bit. And I'm hoping this is going to work. Maybe I'll turn this on with it and just inflate just a little bit, not too much. About there. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want these to be a different color, and a good example of that would be just to do this. Right, so now these will be a different color when I render this. And also, I could do this with the top part too, but I think this will be okay. All right. And I think I'm done with these. I don't think I need to do much more to them. I'm getting some other ideas from the reference. I think this is a good example of how I work with ZModeler, and I use it all the time. And this is kind of a great hard surface workflow here. Okay. So I'm going to duplicate this one more time. And with this duplicate, I'm just going to take these. Let's double that so I can see both sides. And I don't need these. Oops. And I don't need these. I just need these top parts. Delete hidden. Okay. And now I just have this kind of those top parts, separate parts. And what I'm going to do with those is I'm just going to Q-mesh them out. Q-mesh, island, shore, and do this kind of thing. Q-mesh. All right, so just kind of create like a border or a clasp of some sort. And I'm going to crease these ends. Is that doing it to the other side? Nope. Starting to use my mouse a lot more. I need to remember I've got this great pen display that I should be using. All right, and what we want to do here is I'm going to turn off local symmetry, and I want to create Q-mesh, single poly, right, and that's kind of little clasps to, you know, hold that thing in. Which I could also make another material. I think I did some. Did I lock a? Yeah, I did. I locked it on Y. That's funny. Okay, all right. So now that kind of created these clasps over here, which look okay. I might create more visual interest on those things. And here I'm getting into the tertiary details, so it's just a lot of fun to kind of do this detail work. All right, and what I want to do here is maybe lift this up like that. Do the same thing on the other side. Actually, this will be a lot easier if I did not have this middle line, so I'm going to delete it. Insert with Alt. Okay, and now this will be a lot easier to do. Okay, same here. That way I'm just doing one instead of two. Let's do this one more time. 2, 3, oops. 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I kind of like what the creasing is doing. It's creating kind of an interesting type of a thing, and so maybe that's kind of like another release for these. I can maybe try and even push it out this way. I don't think that did much to it, so I'm just going to go back, and I'm going to see if I can even do something like this. Try this one more time. Right, like that. Do that over here. And then for the middle, it's just connecting them, which I don't think is going to make a difference. But I just want to see if those kind of look interesting enough. No. I think I like it better like that. I'm going to try one other thing here. Just going the other way around. Oh, how about just doing this? I think that looks good. Like that. But I do need to do some creasing here. So let's go back to crease. I think crease PG will do this in one shot. Let's see. Geometry, crease PG. Yeah, here we go. Only two edges I need to do manually. All right, I think it's doing it just for one. Do I have any symmetry on? I do, yeah, so it should be doing it on the other side. Okay, 2, 3, oops, and 4. Well, let's see if that looks any better. Yeah, I like the square shape a lot better. All right, so let's do this on that side too. I don't know why I'm doing the inside. I don't even see that. So. Crease, 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 crease. Okay. And now the inside part, I figured I don't need it, so I'm just going to pop those in. Just extra geometry I don't need. Okay, that looks good. Thinking of what else would make that interesting. All right, I'm going to do an experiment here, just sliding some edges. That works. Do something else here. Try and slide this in. And do the same over here. All right, that creates kind of a more interesting kind of a thing. And I can see these from the side over here. Let me also make this the other color. Just so I can see. All right, so that's good. That's done. Now, one other thing I want to do with this is kind of, and I don't know if this is going to be too late to do it, but let's see if I can. So let's go back to here. This is going to be tricky. Still, this is issue with this thing over here. Fix that. Fix on the other side. What is going on? This being like there's this weird little thing over here. All right, fixable, mirror and weld. Oh, look at that. Okay, let's save. Anytime something unexpected happens, it's a good idea to save it. All right, so with this one, I'm just going to actually turn symmetry off for a minute and delete hidden. I'm going to delete that part that's kind of had the funky stuff going on and just mirror and weld this on the other side. So we are good. And then I also want to do a little bit more work here. I want to make this part smaller. So let's see if I can do it. First, let's mask it. So mask, poly loop. I think my neighbors are having a party. Someplace for me to go after this is done. All right, so mask, flat island. There it is. And then let's go ahead and pop this guy over here. And what I'm going to try and do is make this smaller. Like that. I don't know why this thing keeps filling in. QMesh, single poly. Let's see if this works. All right. All right, that happened on one side, but did not happen on the. No, it happened on both sides, right? Nope. Right. So mirror and weld. All right, so that's a good amount of time on that. And one other thing I want to do here is do one more extrude over here. So I want to do QMesh poly loop here and just expand this out. It's interesting what's happening over here. So maybe I will QMesh these out to attach. Same thing on the other side, I think. Like that. And then let's QMesh the poly loop, see what we get from that. Something like this. And let's see what that looks like in here. Okay, good. I think that's good enough, right? Some really interesting stuff happening over here that I don't like. All right, I'm going to take this back to the way it was. And I'm going to do this a little bit different. I'm going to poly group these poly loops. So this one and this one and this one. And I'm going to go ahead and crease these edges. So crease, edge loop complete, 1 and 2. Okay. And now I should be able to Q-mesh these out. Once again, if I delete this edge, make my life easier, Q-mesh this one, and this one. There we go. And same thing on the other side. And that's good. Now, polygroup loop. Let's just make sure all these are the same group. And then just Q-mesh this out. All right, some interesting things happened here, which is I think there were more of that polygroup that I made. So, and also, this is only happening on one side. All right, let's try this again. I'm going to fill this with another polygroup for kicks. Polygroup, fill. Something we don't have. Maybe that. Same with here. Same with here. Just make sure it's all filled. Okay, and then let's expand it out. Okay, this is again not happening on the other side, which is fine. I'm going to drop a bevel on these edges here. Bevel, edge loop complete, that's fine. And same on the other side. And I want these to be creased, so crease, edge loop complete, 1, 2, nice bevel there, another one here. Okay. Now I want this to be on the other side as well, so I'm just going to mirror and weld. There we go. Okay, perfect. All right, so that's basically doing kind of the hard surface detailing geometrically, and you know, soon I'll be doing some sculptural stuff and stuff with alphas, so that will be kind of the next stream. I'm trying to see if there's one more thing I can do here, which is kind of create these little areas over here. So let me see if this works. Bevel, edge loop complete, edge loop partial. See what that does. I don't think that's interesting. But I'm going to try this other trick here, which is mask an edge here, mask, edge, this one, this one, this one, this one, same with these guys, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do the other sides too, just for kicks. All right, so now I'm going to invert that mask, and I'm just going to bevel these edges. Let's see if I get, yep, that's exactly what I wanted. So let's see what this looks like that. Same here, and same here. Again, this only happened on this side. Let's see what that looks like this way. It's not that interesting, but it will be once I crease the borders of these guys. So crease, polygroup. Of course, it created 4 different polygroups, so that's fine. And then let's see what that does. Okay, it's kind of interesting, but I kind of like that chiseled look. So let me just do a crease edge here, which will take care of it. Crease edge, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And then we'll do the inside ones too, another 8 on here. Now the thing you need to really consider is that this thing that I'm making here is the reason why geometric tertiary shapes are good is because they are very little geometry. So each one of these is about 1,000, 1,600 points. And I could probably even pare that down further. Like there's probably some edge loops in here that I don't need, that I can probably get rid of. Not too many, but there are some. But yeah, I mean, just to kind of have this low res kind of, you know, item give out a lot of detail just by using a smooth modifier. This will make, you know, the geometry count be less. And then, you know, if I need to bake this out into a game or something, it would be pretty easy to do. All right, let's see here. Foolish Swami TV, hello back. Looks like we've got quite a few people towards the end here, so I will kind of let's see, do I want to go further or am I good? I think this would be a good time to stop. So, you know, today we did the straps and we started to do some tertiary detail using ZModeler on these 2 little kind of objects that are over here. Next time we'll be doing a lot more of this kind of detailing, and we'll be doing it on all the different parts. But I think, you know, next time we'll just do tertiary forms and maybe some color work. Just kind of figure out some colors on here. I think I did that before, but I might do another go at it. And then we'll just figure out a way to pose this. So I'm going to be sending this into Character Creator, getting a nice interesting pose, and then just creating a render. All right, so with that, I would like to wish you all a happy or a good evening or a good morning, whatever time of day it is, and happy ZBrushing.